For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
The international order we seek is one that can resolve the challenges of our times. So we have to shape an international order that can meet the challenges of our generation. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way.
When there are upheavals in many parts of the world simultaneously, I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure, have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
All these new challenges are bringing together about the biggest restructuring we have ever seen, not just of the global economy, but of the global order as a whole. And it's only now that we can begin to understand that the world order that globalization brings and what it's going to look like, it's driven forward now not just by the balance of military strength, the Cold War times, or ordinary political power. It's being driven forward by a seismic shift in economic power that we see around us. But what does the New World Order mean for countries like ours? And the question for us is how we meet and master all these challenges to ensure that Britain enhances its competitiveness in the process and realises what I believe is our destiny of success in this New World Order. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, a new world is emerging. It is a new world order with significantly different and radically new challenges for the future.
And President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
A new world order. A new consensus as to how life should and could be lived.
They have used the war to add unlimited billions to a debt which was already the highest we have ever known.
10 trillion US dollars is a figure so unreal, most people have trouble figuring out what it means personally for them. But actually, it's quite simple. There are over 300 million people living in the United States. With the debt as it currently stands, that means over $30,000 for each American citizen.
And they have used the war to justify the restriction of congressional power and the assumption of dictatorial procedures on the part of the President and his appointees.
Your elected officials, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, have just overwhelmingly passed the National Defense Authorization Act.
Imagine if your family was awakened in the middle of the night by a team of federal officers. Well, that's exactly what happened to a woman and her children in Granville County.
Amanda Lamb is in the newsroom joining us now. And Amanda, we understand that because this case falls under the Patriot Act, a lot of the usual rights for defendants not available here.
That's right, David. The Patriot Act was created after 9/11. It allows federal agents to investigate suspected cases of terrorism swiftly in order to better protect our country.
President Barack Obama has signed a one-year extension of several provisions in the nation's main counterterrorism law, the Patriot Act.
These plans were, of course, to be covered and assisted by the full power of their propaganda.
The terrorists attacked us and killed 3,000 of our citizens.
We should have bombed somebody in Iran, then we'd bring them to the table just like President Nixon did to the Vietnamese.
Well, a militia group linked to terror.
Al-Qaeda in Iran. These people are out to kill us.
People don't understand the danger that this country poses to the world.
It is too late to stop Iran's nuclear program.
They're at war now.
The attacks are connected to Al-Qaeda, but is Iran pushing the terror buttons?
Al-Qaeda is in Baghdad.
American officials say Tehran is forging ties with Al-Qaeda.
There were connections and discussions between senior Iraqi leaders and senior Al-Qaeda members.
Iran is playing together with Al-Qaeda.
Iran is the central banker of international terrorism, and I hope it's not going to take another 9/11 to wake us up.
We're fighting a forward strategy to prevent another 9/11 from happening over here.
We don't want to have another 9/11.
9/11 with weapons of mass destruction.
Iran continued to defy the UN by refusing to answer questions about its nuclear program.
Saddam Hussein has no intention of cooperating with the United Nations.
Iranians are moving forward with their nuclear program quicker than expected.
Saddam's illegal weapons program is going strong right under the inspectors' noses.
Iran is actively involved in killing U.S. soldiers and civilians.
You have the proof. It's fairly unequivocal here.
Irrefutable evidence that Saddam continues to hide weapons of mass destruction.
We ultimately are headed towards a military confrontation.
We have the world's greatest military, and we'll use it.
We've got to use our force, and to me that would include taking military action.
War now seems all but inevitable.
The very real possibility of war.
With 2 carrier strike groups in the Gulf, we're sending clear messages to friends and adversaries alike.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories, malicious lies that attempt to shift the blame away from the terrorists themselves, away from the guilty.